Okay, this also just came to me. It's part two to that previous Disney video I made. Did you? A lot of people don't know this, but I'm going to show you. I'm going to reveal this to you, and you're going to have to do the research and find out for yourself. Do you ever wonder where all these elites get all their money from? Well, they all have stocks in Disney. And if not in literal Disney World and Magic Kingdom and all that stuff, and in the production companies and the movies and all that, Disney is a huge, huge conglomerate. But what you don't realize is that Disney is a front, a facade. Disney World, the Magic Kingdom, which is basically representing Satan's kingdom down on earth, hence the Magic Kingdom, witchcraft, which has always been here, going back to the days of Egypt and before. It's when people use demons to take magic and spells or whatever into their own hands. They want to be God. Witchcraft has always been something God said is an abomination and condemned, but it never disappeared. You think the Salem witch trials and stuff like that got rid of it, but it didn't. It just went into hiding and found a clever form to manifest itself right under our very nose every day, incorporating its kingdom and magic into everything, and we don't even realize it, and we actually think, oh, it's fun, it's fairy tale, this and that. Yeah, but in the way God thinks, the way He sees things, He doesn't like fun and magic and fairy tales and fiction and all this stuff that we think is a break from reality. Because when you're taking that break from reality, and we're all guilty of this, we are worshiping the devil, not God. We are giving into the creation, not the creator. We're loving the world and the things of the world, material, fun, pleasures, sin, whatever, more than God. And that's an abomination to God. That's a sin. Also, I'm hearing this right now, when you're like idolizing or worshiping Disney and you don't even realize it, you love the movies, you go to Disney every year, everything's like Magic Kingdom, Disney this and Mickey Mouse that and whatever, you're not even putting the creation before the creator, which God says is a no-no. You're actually putting fantasy, a fake reality, a fake world that the devil creates before God. And that's even worse than worshiping the creation, the world, and everything in it that God created for His glory. You're giving glory not only to the world and the flesh and the devil, but you're actually giving glory to a fictional world that doesn't really truly exist, that God never even created or intended. You see? So that's even worse. That's like, and so you're basically giving glory and idolizing a counterfeit world or kingdom, which is the devil's. And we think it's all fun and magical and magic's fun. And do you ever wonder why everything in Disney has to do with magic and fairy tales and all this stuff? And it's all about liberation and enjoying oneself and living your dreams and wishes and making wishes and all this stuff. Everything and anything to take power and authority into your own hands and make yourself a god, to go to the devil for everything you want instead of to God. Making it look like Satan offers this fun world where do whatever you want. If you can dream it, do it, be it, whatever you want. But God's no fun. He just gives you a list of all these rules, and He wants all the glory and honor for Himself. And he's a dictator. And but the devil in his kingdom's magical, and he'll give you whatever you want, and you can just have fun and enjoy yourself, right? That's why sin and Satan and Disney and all that is so much more appealing than Christianity and the road of the cross. Now do you see that not all that glistens is gold? Not all that glistens is gold. Disney glistens and shines and amazes and draws our attention and gives us a break from reality. And it's just so much fun. And they charge you an arm and a leg also, by the way, and rake you across the coals just so you can go and have fun at Disney, right? And go see its movies. Well, where do you think all those billions of dollars that Disney brings in a year go? What do you think is the powerhouse that funds all the elites' agendas that are to take over the world? Disney. Oh, come on, just a few theme parks and movies and stuff and merchandise can't possibly bring in enough money for George Soros and all these high-level Freemasons and Satanists to run the world. Yeah, it can, and let me tell you how. Disney is not just Disney. Disney is an umbrella corporation. Every other company and corporation belongs to Disney. Disney took the monopoly on everything. Disney owns satellites. Disney owns real estate. Disney owns food chains. Disney owns production companies. Disney owns TV and TV studios and news. When you watch Channel 8 News, Fox News, all these news stations, they all belong to Disney. ESPN is Disney. Okay? Fox is Disney. Channel 8 News, WTNH, Disney. Fremantle Media or whatever, Disney. All of your radio stations, Disney. Disney doesn't put its name flat out on everything, but it is the parent company to all these little subsidiary companies, these other companies underneath it. So you got Disney, Satan's company, Satan's corporation, Satan's kingdom, and everything else underneath it on the earth. Look this up. I'm probably not using the right words for it, but Disney owns satellites. Disney owns Verizon Wireless. Yeah, Disney owns media companies. Disney owns the news. The news that you watch every night to get your breaking news. Yeah, Disney owns them all. Disney owns radio stations. Disney owns hotel chains, restaurants, stores. Disney has its tentacles in everything. Almost every company or corporation, especially major one, is always connected to Disney. And most people don't realize how huge Disney Corporation really is. It's a corporate enterprise. So yeah, you can't go wrong if you want to make money investing in Disney or any Disney company. They will not go under. They will not fail because, well, Satan and his minion, the elite, the rich and powerful, will see to it that it doesn't. That's where they have all their stocks and bonds in. That's what they have all their investments in. They belong to the Freemason network. For example, if I was a high-level Freemason, they would help me become rich and famous and powerful. I'd have to do all their rituals and sell my soul to the devil and denounce my Christianity, but I would have a brotherhood that is very powerful, that would even kill people for me, to defend me, to protect me, and I'd have to do vice versa for them. And I would be a movie star. I would be whatever I wanted. If I wanted to be a cardinal or a bishop, they'd find a way to get me in there, or a priest. If I wanted to run my own business or open up my own hotel chain, it would be done. It's all because those are the promises that Satan and the people in the Freemasons give you if you join, especially if you make it to a high level of witchcraft, the craft. That's why they call it the craft. And if you become a 33 degree, you're really, really way up there. Then you're practically royalty. You are royalty in Satan's kingdom and in their economy, in their eyes. And so, like things like Charles Schwab and Vanguard and all these companies, look them up. They're all affiliated, if not directly linked to Disney, or there are little companies that are under Disney. So, look it up. Disney basically monopolized everything. And it did it in a clever way by not putting the name Disney on everything. But they're all companies that belong to or branch off of or that are under the umbrella of Disney. So when you wonder why the rich and powerful keep getting more and more rich and powerful, it's because they have investments and companies in Disney, which is at the top of the pyramid. In fact, Disney used to use the pyramid and the all-seeing eye, even going back into some of its black and white cartoons. Nickelodeon is also owned by Disney. Universal, you'd think it was separate, but it's under Disney. People, you don't have any idea. Satan masquerades as an angel of light and of all good and pleasurable things. He could strap on a pair of Mickey Mouse ears, okay, and build Cinderella's castle, and people will flock to it for a break from reality. And he targets children. It's always been about the children, because he got us. If the devil knows if he can plant seeds into the minds of children, put all these fantasies and dreams and ideas of that boost their egos and feed off of their pride, he'll take them away from Christianity and bring them into a fantasy world, a magical world, where they can... What do you tell your children? Oh, you could all be princes and princesses in Disney World, right? And so these kids walk around dressed up as princesses, thinking who they are, little prima donnas. That is so wrong, because God does not like that. He hates pride. So you're sowing seeds of pride and magic and fairy tales and witchcraft and all that into children at a young age. You put them in front of the TV and put on Disney, and that's their babysitter, and they're being indoctrinated subliminally without you realizing. It looks like innocent ducks and mice and Pluto and all this stuff, but subliminally they're being pumped with sexual innuendos and satanic stuff that you have no idea. And you and I grew up on that too, not realizing it. And now it's exposed, and it's like, oh, no wonder. And we did pick up on it. Kids pick up on things, but they don't know any different if somebody doesn't tell them it's bad. Now do you see why Jesus said, raise your children in the Bible. Bring them up right. If you teach them the right way at a young age, they will never depart from it. You must teach them about God and God's kingdom and the Bible at a very young age, and get their minds filled while the biggest part of their life between age 0 and 5 determines their whole personality and life and character. So while that's being formed, you need to form that strong foundation in Christ and in morals and in the Bible, so that when they're older than 5, they will not turn away from it. They can always come back to it. They'll have a firm foundation in God and Christ. But most people don't raise their kids in the Bible. They give them Disney books first, and they give them all this worldly stuff and fantasies. Oh, let them be kids, let them be kids. But that's dangerous, because you're making these kids live fantasies. You're raising them to believe in all fake nonsense stuff that you're filling their head with garbage that's not going to keep them safe in life. You're making them think that the world is a rose-colored magical world, and you're sparking their imagination, but it's dangerous because they don't know the dangers of the world. The first thing animals do when they have young, when they're raising their kids, deers and bears and the animal kingdom, is they teach their young the dangers of predators and how dangerous and how survival of the fittest works, and how they've got to be careful and trust nothing, otherwise they will be eaten. So they teach their young how to survive in this dangerous world at a very young age, otherwise they won't make it to maturity. But parents coddle their kids and put them down in front of Disney movies and Disney stuff and this and that, and then these kids grow up between age 0 and 5 thinking everything's Mickey Mouse and magical and this and that and fairy tales and Santa Claus and Easter bunnies and all this stupidity. And then the reality hits when they get older, like, wait, this was all a lie, it's all fantasy, it's all fiction, it was fun, but you just wasted the most critical years of your child's mental and development and spiritual development by, and it's designed this way, people. It's designed to get us while we're young so that we never go or find the right way, the narrow path to the kingdom of heaven. This whole world is a facade that Satan runs, and it is designed to keep you and I from holiness, from selflessness, from godliness, from the one true God and the one true faith, from the truth. What is Disney? It's not true, it's all fantasy, right? It's a distraction from truth. It's a break from reality. And we teach our kids these things at a very young age so they don't take reality seriously. They don't take God seriously. They don't even believe in Him. And it's a clever double-edged sword. Because if you start teaching your kids to believe in stupid things like Santa Claus and Easter Bunny and Disney and Mickey Mouse and magical stuff and all these tooth fairies, when they grow up and they realize that all that stuff is BS, nonsense, fiction, how do you expect them to believe in a man, an invisible man in the sky named God, and a place called heaven, when everything else you taught them was fantasy and garbage? So they're going to equate God with just another fiction, something that's not real, when He is very real. And they're also not going to fear hell. And they're not going to think that the devil and hell are very real places, which they are. Because they're going to throw it all in with the rest of the fictional stories that they were raised on. That's just stuff of children. Do you see how clever Satan is? Which is why God said, teach your children immediately about the realities of me and of the devil and of hell and of heaven. Teach them this and they will not depart from it. Now they tell you it's illegal to do that. They don't want you to teach your kids or proselytize them and teach them about Christianity. Because, well, of course the devil wouldn't want you teaching kids about Christianity. And that's another reason why Satan, through Disney and cartoons and media and every other thing in this world, tries to get your children to be impure and unholy. He tries to sexualize them at a very young age, so that the foundation, like my foundation, was all pornography and garbage growing up. And so I struggled most of my life with sex and all kinds of stuff, perversion, because my foundation was based in Disney and cartoons and sex and all kinds of sexualization and pornography that I watched as a kid and all this stuff. So the beginning stages and years of my development, the foundation was made out of perversion, fantasy, lies of the devil, corruption, sin, abomination. So now, when I got older, that's what I was drawn to. That's what I wanted. That's what I sought after. I didn't seek after God and holiness and righteousness and purity. No, I only knew impurity and homosexuality and every kind of disgusting, vile thing. That's all that I was raised around and taught through media, through TV, through movies, through school, through people in my family. Witchcraft and Freemasonry, that was also in my lineage. I have a lot of cousins who at least used to be witches, and they were proud of it. And there were Ouija boards and witchcraft and stuff in my family. When I was a child, I saw it with my own eyes. I saw my sisters playing, games and witchcraft things like Ouija boards and all that stuff. Me and my friend Tony Ann up the street would play with her sister's Ouija board when I was 4 or 5 years old. Okay? I mean, these are doorways that were opened to the demonic realm, opened into my life at a very young age. And though you can't see all the supernatural stuff right away in the natural, so you don't know it's there, it's very real, and it's happening, and it's taking ground and determining the course of my life and those around me. People, I'm a Disney fan just like everyone else because it's a childhood thing that I grew up with, which is why the Bible also says, do away with childish things. When you grow up, you're now adults now. Have nothing to do with childish things anymore. And they didn't even have these types of things back then, 2,000 years ago. But the point is, we're in serious trouble because we are being indoctrinated in every way, every day by music, TV, commercials, Disney, children's books, things that look innocent, things that look pure and fun, but they're not. There's a very sinister demonic face behind Mickey Mouse. And everything that looks so cute and innocent and fun and childish and fanciful. Harry Potter, Satanism, witchcraft. Sabrina the Teenage Witch, witchcraft. Did you ever wonder why there's always been so much to do about witchcraft, so much allure about witchcraft? Halloween, witchcraft. Practical magic, witchcraft. Everything is witchcraft, warlock, witchcraft. And everything in Disney always has to do with a princess to boost people's ego. Oh, everybody wants to be a little princess or a prince or a king when they grow up, right? And in Satan's economy, he promises you all that you're going to be kings and queens and tells you to live like your own god, your own king and queen. It's all about ego and pride, which God hates. It's also mocking. It mocks God's way of things. God is the only one true God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Israel, the God of the Bible. And his kingdom is the only one true and everlasting kingdom. The one true kingdom, the one true royal family. And if you're not one of his children, you ain't part of the royal family. Okay? And so when Disney has all these movies where there's always a king and a queen and a prince and a princess, and it's always some struggle between good and evil, between some prince or princess, right? And they live happily ever after. It's basically mocking God's kingdom, and the way God wants things done. And it's glorifying Satan's ideals. Satan wants to have a kingdom too, where everybody loves him and serves him and glorifies him, even though he has to deceive everybody. For example, Satan is hideously ugly now, but he can transform himself to look like a very beautiful angel of light. So if you saw Satan, he's not going to necessarily show up in your bedroom looking the way he really looks in all his hellish demonicness, his ugly with his horns and all that crap. No, he's going to show up like a good-looking, handsome guy. He's not going to show you his scary, evil side. He still masquerades as an angel of light, as if he still associates with heaven. But he doesn't. It's just a facade. He's evil to the core. But he puts on a good outside, a good exterior, so that you would find him very enticing and charming and attractive. And so Disney World is a facade. It's got sinister, diabolical forces and meaning behind it. But you and I won't know that looking at it for face value. It seems like harmless fairy tale fun and magic. And they don't even hide the magic part. In fact, they call it the Magic Kingdom. And in all the Disney symbols, they have satanic symbols embedded and hidden in them. And there's always 666. Disney World. Walt Disney World title has 666 in it. Disney's name has 3 6s in it. Walt Disney. Mickey Mouse. The Mickey Mouse ears and face logo are really 3 6s. This is not conspiracy theorist stuff. This is reality. Most of you don't want to see the evil under the surface because it ruins the fun. You're not going to want to spend thousands of dollars to take your kids to Disney World. If they changed the name from Magic Kingdom or Walt Disney World to Hell on Earth, would you still go? And if they got rid of Mickey Mouse and put demons with horns and ugly faces instead of cute little Disney characters, would you still bring your children? A lot of you probably would, especially on Halloween. That's the sad thing. You were so dumbed down and numbed to evil and hell that it's just you've incorporated it into your daily life. Sin and evil and the devil and hell are things that you don't really take seriously anymore. And you just mock them and laugh and think it's fun on Halloween to dress up like demons and devils and celebrate this fantasy. You think hell is just a fantasy fairy tale created to scare people. And because you don't believe in hell and the devil, you're not going to believe in Jesus in the kingdom of heaven either. Oh, that's just another fairy tale of a happily ever after that doesn't exist. You see how clever Satan is? He doesn't care what he has to do to get you into hell. You and your children. And he goes after you as young as possible to do it. As long as you lived your whole life in a fantasy world and missed the whole point of your being here, which is to come to know, love, and serve God and become holy and make it to heaven, as long as he's got you distracted for the few years of life that you have on this earth, he's got you. And you will die and go to hell. And your whole reason for existing was in vain, because you never came to know, love, and serve God, the one true God of the Bible. You just lived for yourself, the flesh, the world, the devil, and enjoying your life with the wrong mentality until you died and your life was useless to God and to his kingdom, and you'll never achieve holiness and sanctity, and you'll never make it to heaven, and you and your household end up in hell. And Disney is just one of the many things and ways down here on earth that gets us all trapped and off course. So, if you're going to enjoy Disney, don't do it blindly. Like gambling. You know gambling is pretty much sinful. You know it's dangerous. You're probably going to lose more than you win. So if you go into it knowing that it's just a game and you're willing to lose, which I don't know why you want to just throw your money away, but if you're willing to lose, then fine. At least you know the consequences. Or when you drink or do drugs, if you really know that it's sinful and it can send you to hell and it's probably going to kill your health, fine. Smoking, cigarettes, another thing. As long as you know and you still do it anyway, well then you're just stupid. But at least you know. Don't go into things blind. So, this whole world, this one big Disney world, it's so... We have a serious storm coming right now. It's so dangerous and diabolical in every way that you and I can only basically try to make the best out of it and choose the least of the evils at this point. So just don't be blind and dumb and ignorant to all these things. Use your brain and be aware. So if you want to watch a Disney movie, make sure you realize that there are subliminal, satanic, and perverted things being pumped into through that TV screen at the same time. And don't let it distract you from the reality of God and of heaven and of hell. Just be smart about it. moderation, temperance, common sense. Go serve your king.